Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a battle, Austria versus SS Spain. In fact, we really decided to compare these two wonderful European countries. As you know from previous episodes, I've been living in Spain for more than 3 years now, and I have a lot to tell you. But to keep things objective, of course, we'll be talking about both countries. Anna is joining us, and she has been living in Austria for more than 3 years. Ukrainian journalist Alina Zarina spoke with her. And this won't be a review of jamon or schnitzel, although both of those do have a therapeutic effect. But what do they compare to homemade borscht? Today, we'll try to compare two countries, Spain and Austria, in terms of which one is easier for a refugee to adapt to. So, let's start our informational and analytical, and at times humorous show. Let's go?
Real expat life tip, truth tips.
Anya, thank you so much for agreeing, for finding the time, and for being ready to share all the details that await an immigrant in Austria. The first question is, how easy is it to adapt here?
At the very beginning, when we arrived, it was April 2022, the flow of refugees was very, very large. We waited for our documents for about 3 months. Without these documents, you don't have health insurance, you can't apply for any social assistance, you can't register at an apartment, and you can't sign up for language courses. So this main document here, which is called the blue card, without it, you're basically nobody here. Later, the situation improved, they streamlined the processes a bit. I know that people who are arriving now or who came in 2023 are waiting about a month, which is actually a completely normal period, not very long compared to 3 months.
So, you just heard from Anna. She said that in Austria, over the past 3 years, things have improved, while in Spain, everything has stayed the same. Just like there was no order before, there still isn't any now. When we arrived in Spain in March 2022, our friends were a huge help to us. I don't know how we would have managed without them, because we spent days calling the center just to make an appointment to get foreigner documents. It was honestly a special kind of quest. And now, the situation hasn't changed at all. What's more, some of our savvy programmers have come to Spain and created a bunch of little programs. And these programs intercept all the appointments and, of course, then sell them to our own people. As Mykola Yanovich Azarov would say,
in Ukraine, a whole layer of bloodsuckers has formed.
Even we, after living in Spain for 3 years this year, just to exchange an old card that expired on March 4th, 2025, for a new one valid until 2026, were forced to buy a so-called cita for 50 euros per person, even if the person is a child. Of course, the Spanish are well aware of their own bureaucracy, so here the procedure is much simpler than in Austria. But in terms of the fact that you just applied for asylum, received what's called a foreigner's number, and then you can sign up for courses, rent an apartment, and even open bank accounts. So we arrived and simply used the foreigner's number and our Ukrainian passport to open accounts in 2 banks, one of which is behind me, and the other is Santander Bank. I'll talk about that one separately. This is yet another sign of how friendly the Spanish are.
In 2022, after the war in Ukraine began, Santander Bank introduced a support call center for Ukrainians, and I used this call center's services multiple times. The staff there are incredibly polite and super professional.
Subscribe to Real Expat Life Europe. Tips, truth of Europe.
What is a refugee entitled to? What kind of benefits are there?
Refugees who arrive and apply for benefits in Austria currently receive a certain monthly amount for food and housing, are provided with health insurance, and their children can also attend kindergartens and schools completely free of charge. For an adult, they pay 260 euros per month for food and 165 euros per month for housing. Vouchers may be given once a quarter. This means clothing and school supplies for children. You don't get these vouchers as cash, you just get a piece of paper that says 70 euros, 50 euros, 30 euros. And in certain stores, you can exchange them for specific goods.
Benefits? In Spain? That's a joke. Well, I mean, it kind of exists, but it kind of doesn't because it's mostly paid by humanitarian missions, not by the government. Well, specifically the Red Cross, which is right behind me. Now I'll explain in more detail. And I'm laughing because in Spain, humanitarian aid is only provided by charitable organizations like the Red Cross, CR, and ACM. The government doesn't help. The main assistance, of course, comes from the Red Cross. Sometimes they provide housing, food, sometimes they pay out benefits, and they can even organize language courses. But these phases are strictly limited in time. For example, phase 1 lasts up to 6 months. But during phase 1, you might, of course, receive humanitarian aid, and in phase 2, they'll already tell you goodbye. So imagine you come to the Red Cross and say, "I have nothing, no money. Please help, save me." Of course, they won't leave you out on the street, but they might ask you to wait for free housing. How long will you have to wait? No one knows. Yes, of course, they will provide you with housing, but it definitely won't be the kind of hotel everyone dreams about. At this stage, the allowance is 200 to 300 euros per month. And on top of that, they pay extra for children. So if you make it through the 6 months of the first phase and reach the second, then in theory, during the second phase, they can compensate up to 75% of your housing costs. But I don't know of any cases like that. Of course, they pay out allowances maybe and also give extra for a child. So if you compare Spain and Austria, the benefits in Spain are exactly the same as in Austria. But there is one big, significant difference. In Spain, all payments are temporary, and after 12 months, they can stop completely. Since November 2023, there have been no government programs in Spain to support refugees. Of course, charitable organizations do provide payments, but these are not mandatory, and you are not guaranteed to receive benefits if you move to Spain. And again, if you compare Spain and Austria, in Spain all payments are temporary for no more than a year and a half. All these benefits are paid out by charitable organizations. There are no state benefits. Payment of benefits is not guaranteed. Even if you come to Spain and say, "I have no money," it's up to their discretion. So think carefully before you go. If you don't have enough financial resources, or, as they say, you don't have a safety net with you, it's better to choose a country where benefits are guaranteed. However, the beauty of Spain is that, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, here it's not customary to flaunt your wealth. You can live very modestly and still not feel inferior. We will definitely talk about food prices in Spain and Austria in one of our upcoming videos. Honestly, in the 3 years I've lived in this country, I don't know anyone who lives on welfare. Everyone somehow adapts and lives where they want. In the meantime, we're sharing some money-saving secrets. How can you save money while living in Spain or Austria? Secrets from refugees with experience. This is some practical analysis for you. I think I got a bit carried away with these drawings and charts, didn't I? That's how you can lose your viewers. By the way, a big thank you to everyone who subscribed to our channel. Honestly, I was really surprised by the number of likes and views our video got. It inspires us, as they say, to keep going in the same spirit with the same style and on the same topic. And for those who haven't subscribed yet, of course, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it, and for you, it's not hard to do. It inspires us to new feats, new stories about Europe. And now Anna will continue. Hey, look at you, all well-fed. Where did you get that jacket? Oh, what, the pain still hasn't eaten you up? You're something else. Saving money on food in Spain? What's the point of coming all the way to Spain if you're going to skimp on food here? Are you kidding me, or what? So, right now Anya will tell you how to save money in Austria. Honestly, who am I?
Subscribe to Real Expat Life Europe.
She's telling us that there are some social stores in Austria. Well, there's nothing like that in Spain. So how does it work in Austria? Let's listen to Anna.
To be eligible to shop at these social stores, you need a special document, which Ukrainians can also get by showing their refugee card, yes. And they can go there all the time, every month, every day, to buy groceries that are generally good quality. The only difference is that these are products supermarkets had to dispose of. So, we often see in European supermarkets, or in Ukrainian supermarkets, that some products are about to expire soon. These are exactly the products that Ukrainians and other low-income people living in Austria have the right to buy for much, much cheaper. For example, you can buy a huge basket of groceries, and for all of that you'll pay about 16 euros. That was enough for me for almost a week.
Actually, Spain as a country is like one big social store in itself. Everything here is quite cheap. Prices at the market are next to nothing, so there aren't any separate social stores here. I feel like social stores are more humiliating than helpful. They kind of highlight social inequality. And in Spain, it's not customary to show off. But if you want to save money, there are definitely ways to do that in Spain too. For example, there's a program called Too Good to Go. So, just for the experiment, I'll be honest, we went to a store and bought what's called a magic bag. What's the idea behind this program? The point is that you basically buy a pig in a poke, or in our case, groceries in a bag. So we went to the store and bought a bag for €4. Now let's see what we got in this bag for €4. We transferred everything into another bag because it wouldn't all fit in theirs. It's ready-made food, potatoes, steaks. This is cheese. But I have to say, it's not expired. The cheese is good for another 2 weeks. The fourth cheese is Carmen.
No big deal.
The label is different. For Danone yogurts, the expiration date is Tuesday. For Activia yogurts, the expiration date is Wednesday. Cookies. Well, technically, you can get them in the store with a 30% discount, but still, swings. Once again, my favorite Tia plates. They're available in the store with a 30% discount, but we got ours in a little box. Baby biscuits. Toast bread. Some kind of canned food. I don't know what exactly, but something canned. Sausage. The total weight is 360 grams. The expiration date is on Tuesday. Well, this is just kefir. This is something like our sour cream. This is chocolate. Well, hot chocolate. These are tasty sticks. So, basically, this whole pile of groceries cost us €3.99. So why do you even need social stores in Spain if you can buy, well, at least 3 days worth of food for €4, in my opinion?
I'm Aram Conneria, and of course, you'll definitely find out how to move to Europe, and specifically to Spain. How much does it cost to live in Europe, to buy real estate or groceries at the store, how to find a job without knowing the language, or even start your own business. In general, there will be a lot of useful information and all kinds of tips. And of course, I'll be sharing my personal experience as well.
Subscribe to Real Expat Life Europe. Tips, truth of Europe.
As they say, round one. When we started editing everything we filmed about Spain and Austria, it turned out we were making a documentary. But who needs that? Who would be interested? Even we don't want to be boring, so we decided to break it up into several parts. So, the first part is over, because we want to tell you a lot of interesting things. Well, it's interesting to present. As they say, if you liked it, like it and subscribe to the channel. And in a week we will continue.
To, że cię w Europie, como i por qué en Europa. What?